The travel graph shows Marianne's car trip from home to the mall and back again. Using information from the graph, calculate the distance from her home to the mall. And so we have to figure out the distance from her home to the mall. Now, this is 0, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And so that means that the answer is 18 kilometers because distance is in kilometers. So the distance from our home to the mall, right, is 18 kilometers. Next, they want us to figure out the time she arrived at the mall. Now, the time that she arrived at the mall is what they want us to figure out. Here is when she arrived at the mall. And if we go down and down and down, right? This right here is 10. So this is 10 a.m. This right here is 10:15, right? This right here is 10:30 because we're increasing by 15 minutes each time. This is 10:15, 10:30. So this is going to be 10:45, right? So that means that the time that she arrived at the mall is 10:45 a.m. And that's the answer. Next, they want us to calculate the average speed of her journey to the mall. Now, what is average speed? Well, average speed is going to be equal to the distance divided by time. Now, what is the distance from home to the mall? Well, the distance from home to the mall is 18 kilometers. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So the distance is 18 kilometers. That's the distance from home to the mall. But what is the time taken? What is the time taken, right? How long does she take to move from her home to the mall? So home is going to be 10 a.m. That's home, 10 a.m. That's the time that she left home. Now, the time that she arrived at the mall, right? The time that she arrived at the mall is definitely 10:45, okay? And so that means that she took 45 minutes to get from home to the mall. And so if we subtract, if we have 10:45 a.m. minus 10 a.m., the answer is 45 minutes. And so that means that she took 45 minutes to get from home to the mall, all right? But we want 45 minutes expressed in terms of hours. So, and we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And so we divide 45 by 60, and that gives us 0.75. So that means that 45 minutes is equal to 0.75 hours. And so we have the distance divided by time. Here I have 10:45 minus 10 o'clock. And this is just showing the subtraction. 10:45 minus 10:45 minus 10 o'clock. 45 minus 0 is 45. 10 minus 10 is 0, so it's just 45 minutes. But we know 45 minutes is 0.75 hours. And so that's what we're going to use. And so the distance is 18 kilometers. The time is 0.75 hours. And when we divide these two, we get 24 kilometers per hour. And so that means that the average speed of our journey to the mall is 24 kilometers per hour. Next, we have to calculate the length of time she spent at the mall. All right, so how long did she stay at the mall? Well, she arrived at the mall. She arrived at the mall at 10:45, right? That's the time she arrived at the mall, 10:45. She stayed all the way here, right? And this is 12, right? I know they have 12 a.m., but this is actually supposed to be 12 p.m. because we're talking about 12 noon now. So it's 12 p.m. So this right here is, so this right here is 12 p.m. This right here is going to be 12:15, right? 12:15. And this right here is 12:30, right? So 12:30. So that means that she arrived at the mall at 10:45, but she left the mall. I'm sorry. She arrived at the mall at 10:45. She arrived at the mall at 10:45, but she left the mall at 12:30. All right. And so we have to find the length of time that she spent at the mall. So we have to subtract these two times. 12:30, right? Minus 10:45. And when we subtract it, we notice that 30 minus 45, well, 30 is a smaller number. 30 is smaller than 45, so you cannot say 30 minus 45. What we have to do is we have to borrow. And so we're gonna borrow 12. We're gonna borrow 1 from the 12. And 12 minus 1 is going to be 11. So 11 is going to be left over. But we borrowed a whole hour, and 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So that means that we essentially borrowed 60 minutes. And so what we have here is we have 11 hours and 60 plus 30, which is 90 minutes. And we have 10 hours, right? 10 hours and 45 minutes, 10 hours and 45 minutes. And so we subtract, and we get 90 in the minute side, 11 in the hour side, 10 and 45. Now what is 90 minus 45? Well, we cannot do 0 minus 5 because we have to borrow. And so we borrow 1 from the 9, that becomes 8. And then you carry the 1 on this side. So we have 10 minus 5, and 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. And 11 minus 10 is definitely 1. And so that means that the length of time that she spent at the mall is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Next, they want us to determine or to calculate the average speed for the entire trip. Now, average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. Now, what is the total distance? The total distance is 18 kilometers. And the reason why we say 18 kilometers is we start at home and we go to the mall. That's 18 kilometers, right? And then we add 18 kilometers again because she go from the mall to home. So that's 18 kilometers plus 18 kilometers. So that means that the total distance is 36 kilometers. Next, the total time is going to be 1 p.m. minus 10 a.m. So she ended the journey at 1 p.m. She started the journey at 10 a.m. And so we're going to do, we know that 1 p.m., we can express that in military time or army time, or in the 24-hour clock as 13 o'clock. So 1 p.m. is actually 13 o'clock. So we have 13 o'clock minus 10 a.m. When we subtract the 2, we get 3 hours. So the total time is actually 3 hours. And so we have the average speed. Wait, before we do that, just showing the calculations. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 13 minus 10 is 3. So that's 3 hours. The total time is 3 hours. So what we have to do here is we take the total distance, which is 36 kilometers. That's the distance, 36 kilometers. That's the entire distance going to the mall and back. And then the time taken is 3 hours. So 36 kilometers divided by 3, and 36 divided by 3 is definitely 12. And so that means that the average speed is 12 kilometers per hour. And that's the answer. That's the answer to this question.